then, guys. I'll start with you then, Luke. Challenge Cup. I imagine that's a lot of good memories, bad memories for you over the years.
Yeah, I've been involved in three really. Won, but the one that I wasn't involved in, our 19th man. So great that the club won, but obviously not great for me as a young boy. But you know, a great experience nonetheless. And then the one I played against Warrington, we lost, and then obviously the other year with the Giants, you know, was we're 3-4 minutes away from winning. So the cup competition, I love the Challenge Cup. I don't think there's enough weight given to it, you know, from pretty much everyone within rugby league. You know, I think being a young English boy growing up, I think it holds just as much weight as it does with the grand final, personally. But yeah, there's been a little bit of heartbreak as well thrown in there for me. Hopefully this year we can end on a nice note for me.
Why do you think it's kind of lost its, you know, lustre, I suppose, over the years? It's not as highly regarded maybe as the grand final anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a little bit of, you know, there's a lot of pressure on families now to, you know, to buy a season ticket, to pay, you know, to take a family to rugby is quite expensive. No, it's obviously not as expensive as football and other sports, but still in the modern climate, it's pretty difficult for some families. So to then actually have to fork out and pay, you know, on top of your season ticket, I don't think as well, actually swapping I know IMG are trying to get a grip of this, but swapping the time of when it is, and there's been no sort of stability within the Challenge Cup really, you know, the fixtures and when it's played and the venue it's played at. So I think if you can nail down some of them things, you know, and maybe get a little bit of a cheaper discount, clubs can make it a little bit cheaper for families to afford, and the rugby league then sort of make it a set in stone when the fixtures are and when it's going to be played, and I think people can sort of plan ahead for that.
But it's still got the same incentive at the end of it, hasn't it? Wembley and winning a trophy as well, a big trophy at that.
Oh yeah, look, you know, I've said it previous times before, you know, I grew up showing my age here, watching the video, 101 greatest tries in a kick, you know, and I replayed that over and over and over again, and Fox missing that goal in the last minute, and Brett Kenny scoring tries for Wigan, and Halifax obviously winning it. I think you're in '88. You know, it's for me, it's still got that magic feeling. And when you go down Wembley Way and the crowd's there, and you're going on the bus, it still sends shivers down my spine. And I'm really appreciate that I managed to, you know, walk on the field at Wembley and playing it in such a magical sort of cup competition. I'm just unfortunate enough not to win one, but like I say, fingers crossed this year we can go that one step further.
Ashton, is it still as magical to play in the Challenge Cup?
Yeah, you know, it's got a magical feel to it, just for what it is. You know, the coaching at Stanley, and you still get the feeling when you're coaching the boys going onto the field in round 1, round 2, all the way through to the last 16, where the feeling's the exact same, and that for me is kind of the magical side of the cup, where the lads that you're coaching week in, week out at an amateur club still get the same feeling as the professional boys who are taking the same competition on. So yeah, there's a magical feel to it, and it's quite a special one for all the reasons Robbo listed then.
And I suppose when you get to this point, you know, you're only 2 wins away from getting to Wembley, but you've got a big challenge ahead of you this weekend, haven't you? It's one of the toughest, I guess.
Yeah, no, we know we've got a tough challenge, and while there is only 2 games between us and Wembley, there's also a lot of things can go wrong in 2 games. So I think from our perspective, it's definitely just one game at a time, minute by minute, just doing the little stuff well, and hopefully that can compound into an overall success. But you know, we know a lot on the Catalan. We know they're in form. We know they're looking good through the spine. You know, an all French spine as well now. So they're looking good. They're looking strong. Looking fiery. But hopefully we can combat that ourselves and show them a little bit what we're about.
And you must be going into it with confidence as well.
Look, yeah, we're a confident team at the moment, but equally we're quite realistic in the challenge that's ahead of us. And the beautiful thing about what we do really well at Huddersfield is we kind of focus on ourselves more than the opposition, and we truly believe, we have kind of a belief within the group that the players we've got in and around the squad, and then the actual playing squad, the staff, all the way through to the board. We've got full confidence in each other, and we know if we can just do our jobs and play to our processes and systems, we put ourselves in the shop window. And well, as we've mentioned, you know, the 22 Challenge Cup final where it was all to be won, and then in the last 3 minutes it wasn't. Anything can happen, and as long as you're putting yourself in the shop window consistently, you know, I back this group, I back the coaching staff, and I back us to come away with something.
I know there's only 3, you know, big trophies you can win at the end of the year, but I suppose this is one that you can realistically target for yourselves.
Yeah, look, we're probably hitting some decent form at the right time. We're definitely not where we wanted to be form-wise, but we're definitely getting there. We can see it week in, week out. We're hitting some good form. Combinations are coming. People valuing defending and doing the tough stuff, and you know the lads on the field to ice the skill are starting to ice the skill. So we're definitely ticking all the right boxes. We're not there right now, but we don't need to be. And I think looking at a Challenge Cup, it's a great way to get some sort of like a positive reinforcement, just to show that, well, what you're doing is actually working. And the closer the game gets, and you know, if you manage to get through the quarter and you get to the semi, it starts to become real, and you start to actually not just believe that you're a good team. You can actually be showing it through the consistency of getting to semi-finals and quarter-finals and things like that. So no, it is exciting. It does qualify a lot of the work we've put in pre-season, but nothing's won right now, and nothing's won until the final whistle at Wembley. So no, we understand that we've got a big challenge ahead of us.
Guys, that's enough for me. I hope that's all right. I think JD who's just arrived anyway. You could throw in some more anyway. But cheers, guys.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right. Obviously, team news first of all, Robert. What's the headline?
There is no headline really. We're quite settled. We're quite settled. We've got, obviously, Ollie Wilson's picked up a HIA, so he's out. Unfortunately, you know, he said he took a bit of bang to the head at the end of the whole game. Said he felt a little bit dizzy really, and when the doctor did the HIA on him, he failed that. So yeah, and he's been really good for us, Ollie Wilson, this year. We'll miss him because he's probably one of his best ball carriers at the moment. He gets on the front foot, he generates quick play the balls for us, so he's definitely going to be a miss. But you know, we've got able backups coming in. You know, Greeny missed last week due to illness, so Greeny's he's recovered from that, so he's back in the squad. And then also Elliot Wallace is back in the 21 this time. He's all ready to go, ready and raring. I think he's at some of his top speeds really. He's fastest he's run this week, even after his foot injury, so that's good news for him. And then Swifty obviously took a bit of a knock to the face, but he's in the 21-man squad, and he's looking pretty well at the moment. We're just going to make a little bit of a late assessment on him and see how he travels the next couple of days, but he looks really good. He looks really good in training, so fingers crossed.
There were quite big fears, weren't there, initially over Adam Swift and the possible broken eye socket, but that's not the case. Is that there is no fracture, is there?
No, I don't want to give him too many raps, but he's from the old school. He's Swift. He's probably the last of the dying breed, really. He's quite tough. Although he is a winger, he's a muscly touch judge, as Carl Harrison used to call him. He's pretty tough with Swifty. So yeah, even though he took a bit of it were a bad one to the face. Obviously collided with Sutcliffe. If you watch it back, it's pretty bad, to be fair, and his eyes shut up straight away. But yeah, he's pretty tough. So he's put his hand up, and we'll see how he goes in the next 24 hours, whether he does play or not.
Is Chris Hill anywhere close at the moment?
Not yet. No, he's a few weeks away still. He's still a few weeks away, so he's slowly integrating back in with the team, and we're getting his, you know, he's still with the physios at this moment in time, so he's not ready yet, no.
So what's your gauge on Catalan?
Well, the form team in the comp, aren't they? They're the ones that they're at the top of the league. They've just beat St Helens in a pretty ferocious game, really. You know, it were probably had a bit of I know we're only early on in the season and teams are still finding their feet, but it kind of felt a little bit like there were a little bit of a playoff sort of feel to it, really. The way the game went, it were back and forth. It could have been anyone's game, and there were a lot of scramble, a lot of desire from both sides to hold each other out. You know, St Helens could have probably scored 2 or 3 tries, but great scramble D from Morgan and DeCosta and a few others kept him in the game. But I thought the game in itself was really good to watch, really tough encounter. So they're battle hardened, and yeah, it's going to take a lot from us to actually turn them over. But it's a fight we're looking forward to, and we're reveling.
And a place in the Challenge Cup semi-finals at stake. What would it mean to the group to get there this year?
Oh, I've said before that the Challenge Cup holds just as much weight as winning the grand final for me. Growing up watching the teams of the old, and when Halifax won it in I think '88, and Wigan won it when I obviously supported Wigan a fair bit, even though I'm from Halifax, and watching Sean Edwards and all them lift the cup, it's just as magical it is for me as it probably for a lot of English kids and the English lads in our ranks. You've got to kind of explain to the Australians that it holds just as much weight. Look, we know the grand final's a big thing, but so's the Challenge Cup, and we've had heartbreak at Giants. In being so close, 3-4 minutes away from lifting it, and then cruelly getting snatched away at the last minute. Yeah, it's probably just fueled the fire to actually go that one step further and win it.
If there's any reservation ahead of Catalan, Robert, would it be that they obviously had that intense game last week, and you maybe haven't had an intense game since probably Wigan OKR?
Yeah, it's sort of two ways of looking at it, really. One way you think they're battle hard and they've gone in. They're coming in from some really intense games with the high level of contact and sort of an arm wrestle sort of feel to the game. Then other ways you go, fingers crossed for us, it's took a little bit of energy out of them and we go in a little bit refreshed. So it all depends on what your mind's telling you. I know which one what I've been telling the lads and what we're thinking.
Ash, we just heard from Robert what the Challenge Cup means to him. What does it mean to you in this day and age?
No, I was just saying before, it's quite a special one for me because obviously I coach Stanningley and I really do enjoy the early cup run in January with Stanningley and what it means to the boys to represent the club at an amateur level in the most prestigious cup in the world and to be able to represent in the same cup them as a coach and then being able to participate as a player, it does hold special kind of meaning to me, but more so it's something that we can sink our teeth into quite early in the season. Sometimes you can get lost at looking at the far picture of the Super League trophy or the league leaders, but actually having something in an early stage where you can get your teeth sunk into and kind of qualify all the work you've put in pre-season and the early rounds. It's all about completion and kicking to corners and things like that. So to being able to actually get a real competitive match going on within a cup competition to see, well, who's about it now and then who's about it later, it is quite special.
And like Robbo alluded to, you guys should have won that at Spurs. You were so close. Is that a motivation? Is it something that the group talk about still?
Yeah, the funny thing is, the year after we signed Bibbs from Wigan, so we never really got to the end of it. But no, the group we've got's a hungry group. We are a hungry group. And it's easy to sit here and say we're hungry, but I get them personal connections with the boys and we talk about it. And a lot of the boys have had near misses on cup competitions. In 22 we had a real near miss in the Challenge Cup, and throughout the Leeds days when I was playing at Leeds, I was always 18th man in the competitions, grand finals, World Club challenges, Challenge Cups. So I'm hungry as ever. I want to win. I come here to win something, and the Challenge Cup would be a justification for that. Then it's the same throughout. We've got a hungry young squad, and I think it'd be silly for me to not to say that we are hungry. We do want to win this competition, but we're not stupid either. We understand that every team left in this competition is saying the same thing, and we've got a tough challenge going over at Catalan. So look, it's a bit of heart and head in it. It's a bit you want to speak on it a lot. But you just got to get your head right, and you got to understand there's a big challenge ahead, and it's Catalan Dragons.
Clubs have been going over to Perpignan for years now, haven't they? Is the logistics of it still an added challenge, do you think, Ash?
Nah, not for me personally, but I reckon for some younger players that probably haven't travelled over as many times, it could be a different kind of atmosphere. But that's why you do your hot weather training in pre-season. That's why you do your trips to London. You kind of got to get your body used to travelling away from home and prepping a little bit differently and performing in adversity. We use pre-season to get ready for these moments. So there is no excuse there. The travel will be perfect. You know, we'll go as a group. We'll enjoy each other's company. Hopefully we'll come out. The atmosphere will just be like it was last week against St Helens with the crowd and the flares, and you know, all of that makes for a great spectacle for TV. But we just want to go there and do a job, and if we all collectively add to a good performance, I back us to come away with the win.
And Robert, you've had a decent record at Catalan, haven't you, in recent years? Do you put that down to anything in particular? Is it about...
Just going back to what you said...
You've got the whole thing right.
Just going back to what you said from previous, obviously, when I first started, Catalans were all new and exciting. When I first went over there, I think I was sweating cornettos and baguettes in middle of the game. I was only about 17, 18. So... don't worry, I'll make sure the boys learn from my past mistakes. But yeah, we've got a decent record. We have got a decent record over there, and I think it is becoming more seamless because teams have been doing it for so long now. The lads understand that you go over there, they understand the travel, they understand they're just in a little bit of a routine with it now, really, and it's become the norm. And players go over there not naively like I did, but actually know and fall into a similar routine that they do at home as they do away from home. But yeah, we have got a decent record, but they're still the form team at the moment, and they're still playing extremely good rugby, and it's going to be a very difficult task. So we're full of confidence, we're full of belief, but we, like Ash said previous, we understand it's going to be a tall task.
Just back to the squad, Robert, because what I was saying last week or the week before, that Andre Savelio is moving in the right direction. Is that still the case? It is still the case.
He's picked up a little bit of a niggle, a little bit, nothing too serious, a little bit of a niggle. So it's only minute, but a little bit of a calf injury, which has just sort of curtailed his recovery a little bit. But it's not going to be too serious. It's nothing that we need to worry about. So he's making the right noises, really.
He can't catch a break, can he?
No, not really. Sometimes it happens, you know. It's luck of the draw. Sometimes the man at the side of me will probably tell you that. You know, he's had a fair few himself. When he had one, then he'd have another. But it's something minor. It's nothing too serious. So it shouldn't be something that might hold him back a week. But yeah, he's moving in the right direction.
And just back to you, Ash. Lastly, how happy have you been with your own contributions so far this year?
Yeah, you know, quite enjoying myself at the moment from a personal level. I'm just enjoying ripping in with the boys. I said, you know, all of last year, I think I played 8 games, and for the time that I was out, I just said, you know, we didn't have the best of years, and I'd rather have been in the trenches with the boys getting beat up than stood on the sidelines telling them what to do and shouting and running water. So I'm getting that opportunity now to be in the trenches and get whacked for my mate, and hopefully by me getting whacked, I can put on a platform that they can go and add some skills. So no, I'm loving it, and I guess my biggest thing this year, I think I said earlier on, was being available. Just be available, and you know, let the training that these boys put on for me and the skill level that we demand at Huddersfield showcase itself. So no, I'm enjoying myself. I've still got a long way to go, a long season ahead of me, but again, personally, I think I'm going in the right direction.
Just lastly, we always refer to you as the hype man of Huddersfield. Have you got any special plans this weekend to get them up for this trip?
I think, like we've already spoke about enough, you're going into a quarter-final of a Challenge Cup and you're going over to Catalan, and it's going to be pumping itself. So I think the boys are going to be pumped. My job is just to maintain that if and when I'm required to do that, and just enjoy. I think we just got to enjoy this. You play with a smile on your face, it's hard to be broken down.
Keep the vibe up.
You know it.